G'day guys, Scott from Fatbeat Trader here. Just wanted to bring you a bit of a video. One of the guys emailed me a really great question yesterday. Jason, you can reach him at Twitter at Forex Inc. He emailed me this awesome question. I had to think about it for a little while. So he asked me, what's the most important element to identify before you place a trade? And I had to think about that a while because it seems like I've been trading for so long that it's almost become unconscious, what I actually do before I trade, and that can be a good thing, and it can also be a bad thing, I guess. One of the things that I've found though with my own trading, one of the things that I do all the time is ask myself before entering a position or before doing anything, am I acting in my own best interest right now? And I believe this is fundamentally, without question, the most important question that you can ask yourself in the trading day. I think it's so important that you ask yourself this question, and I'm talking about actually saying it out loud, especially right before you actually make a decision where you're going to make an entry, an exit, or you're scaling in or out of a position. Whatever you're doing with your trading, by asking yourself that question, it helps you to stay in the moment, and it's going to help you to continue to do the right thing rather than focus on being right. And that's such an important thing. I can tell you the biggest problem I've had coaching traders over the years, and even coaching myself, is that traders get caught up in trying to be right rather than trying to do what's right, if that makes sense. It's so important. I thought I would make this obviously a little video because I wanted you to understand that being overly concerned with being right is usually going to get in the way of doing what's right. I know that sounds really obvious, but focusing on or being too concerned with being right in the situation is going to get in the way of doing what's right. It's the critical counterintuitive. Very important for you to know. Now, what I've found is focusing on doing what's right is always going to get you where you want to go. It's really what it comes down to. So it's one of those things you really, need to ask yourself, am I acting in my own best interest right now? Because you know that trading is not about being right or wrong. That's a massive furphy, and people seem to think about it that way, but it's not that way at all. If you think about it, it's really about how much you're willing to risk to find out if you're right. And that, for most people, I think is an unacceptable way to trade, because most people will risk too much to be right. So, as traders, what we do is essentially, we put our money on the line, and look, hopefully what you do before you put your money on the line is you do some predefine your risk, and you truly embrace that risk on an emotional level before you place a trade. And I'm not talking about a mental stop or having a hard stop and that getting hit and accepting that. I'm talking about truly accepting emotionally accepting that risk. Trading involves a lot of uncertainty, and if you're getting upset with losing trades, it's very possible that suggests maybe you didn't really fully accept the risk before you entered that trade. And look, for me, a losing trade, and this is going to be a bit not controversial, but maybe it will be controversial, but for me, a losing trade should actually be empowering, because if the trade's done correctly and you've got your self-confidence in yourself and your method, and you're trading inside your risk parameters and all that sort of stuff, then the trade, it hasn't worked out, but it's given you information about the market that you didn't have before. This really only applies to traders who have got confidence, who have got a methodology, who have belief in themselves and have traded within their own risk parameters. That's the only way you're going to feel good about a losing trade, basically. And look, as traders, we're never going to know where prices are going. It's not our job to know where they're going. We don't care where they're going. Our job is simply to be prepared, to act in our own best interest, and when price approaches a certain level we've determined to be important, we act. Okay, we act in our own self-interest. So really, the bottom line here is that trading rules and stop losses and limits aren't really going to help you unless you've actually emotionally embraced and internalized your rules and your loss before you ever take it. Okay, an intellectual understanding is not going to be enough. So I hope that makes sense, guys. It's pretty straightforward, really. Focus on doing what's right, not on being right. And if you're focusing on being right, you're not acting in your own self-interest. You can be right, but you just may have to risk more than you're willing to be right. That's all for now, guys. Hope that makes sense. I'd love to hear your feedback. Leave some comments in the box below. Thanks, guys. Talk soon.